And I don't mean it disrespectfully when I say they just don't beat Jaron Ennis. In fact, that style is absolutely tailor-made for Boots.
Do you feel like Boots belongs on the top pound for pound right now?
Not yet. I don't think so. Not right now. I just, like you said, we have so many people right now, and
well, because Vergil loves fighting tough guys. He doesn't run from anybody. He doesn't shy away from the tough matches. So,
and my dad's like, "Hey, they're probably gonna announce it like within the next few days." I'm like, "Oh fuck, and then it didn't happen.
It is the fight every boxing fan is demanding. Vergil Ortiz Jr. versus Jaron Boots Ennis. Two undefeated primetime killers on a collision course.
You can try and downplay it, but I don't give a fuck. Jaron Boots Ennis is the best fighter in boxing today. I keep saying about Vergil, I respect those guys. I love Robert Garcia. The same thing will happen to Vergil Ortiz. It might take a few rounds longer, but he will absolutely slice him up.
So why is this dream fight trapped in a nightmare of accusations, denials, and conflicting stories? It's become a brutal war of words where both sides claim the other is running scared. But the deeper you dig, the more complicated the story gets. And now the truth of who is really dodging, who is finally being exposed.
Who's your dream fight? Who do you see yourself having a mega fight with in your career that's gonna, transcend you to the next level?
Any of the champions, Vergil Ortiz, it's a super fight. Any of the champions at 154. I'm here to make my mark, and it's starting this Saturday. For me, my legacy is to be, collect them belts, be multiple weight division champion, undisputed at 54 if possible, and keep doing it at each and every weight class, 154, 60, and maybe 68. That's my goal, and to fight these top guys. And it's gonna happen, one by one, we're gonna bring them.
Latest shots were fired by Oscar de la Hoya. At the final press conference for Vergil Ortiz's dangerous clash with Erickson Lubin, the Golden Boy promoter threw down a public gauntlet. He wasn't just promoting his fighter. He was sending a direct message to Boots Ennis and his promoter Eddie Hearn, who announced they would be sitting ringside.
If you go back to, if you rewind a bit, you remember when Boots Ennis fought and Eddie was like, let's fight Vergil now, and they were on TV, on camera saying this and that, and then right after they were off camera, it's like nothing happened. We were calling out Boots Ennis and they didn't want to do it. They wanted a tune-up fight, this and that. I understand all that. As a fighter, yes, you want tune-up fights, but come on, how many tune-up fights do you need?
De La Hoya claims their presence isn't a threat, it's a mistake. He stated that after they witness what Vergil does in person, they're going to get scared and will be the ones to call off the fight.
Vergil Ortiz is ready at 154, and I'm glad, like I said, Boots Ennis is coming down to watch this fight. I'm actually really glad he is. But then again, I am afraid that Boots Ennis is going to see Vergil, and he's going to tell Eddie, I don't want Vergil next. Let me have another tune-up fight.
De La Hoya didn't stop there. He added a shocking new detail to the narrative, a claim that flips the script on who is really stalling. According to Oscar, the mega fight was already on the verge of being finalized. He claims the deal was practically done, but then at the last second, Boots' team allegedly hit the brakes. The reason they suddenly needed a tune-up fight.
Look, first, the fight was gonna get made, then Boots needed a tune-up fight, and another tune-up fight, I believe. Vergil's always been ready. He's always been there waiting for whoever. That's who Vergil is. No, he doesn't shy away from any challenge. And the fact that they're gonna come down to see Vergil Ortiz, it tells you everything. He's a superstar. Everybody wants to watch him. Even Eddie Hearn from the UK wants to fly down, and Boots Ennis from Philadelphia wants to see it front row in person and be in awe.
It's an accusation that implies Ennis, not Ortiz, was the one who wasn't ready to sign on the dotted line. This, however, is not the first time this fight has been derailed by public accusations. We have to rewind the clock to 2024 when the roles were completely reversed. It was Boots Ennis's own father and trainer, Buzzy Ennis, who went public first. Buzzy claimed that it was Ortiz's team who had been sent an offer and that it was Ortiz's team who had flat out turned it down.
Just to make it clear on Vergil Ortiz, we sat in a room, me, Oscar de la Hoya, Eric Gomez, and the top DAZN execs in America. We talked about how a deal would work with those two fighters, and we agreed on a deal. We went away, we signed a new deal with Boots. Part of that deal within the contract was the deal that we agreed with Golden Boy and DAZN to fight Vergil Ortiz. Boots signed it. Now, we didn't hear anything back. We told them we're going to fight in October. They said they're going to fight in November, and we haven't heard anything back.
At the time, the narrative was simple. Vergil Ortiz was ducking Boots.
On Tuesday, Eric Gomez called me and he said, look, I just wanted to let you know we're fighting Lubin. After that, we want to get the Boots fight made. I said, well, we're in. I don't, you know. So I take their word for it, and I truly believe Oscar De La Hoya wants to make great fights. But that fight is done on our side, on all the terms that we agreed with Golden Boy. That fight for me, although it doesn't carry an official world championship, which is what we want at 54, is one of the best fights in boxing.
The response from Golden Boy was instant and brutal. Oscar De La Hoya took to social media, dismissing the claim with a single word. He warned that everyone would soon see who really turns the fight down.
But genuinely, you do feel he's a very skilled fighter.
Oh, yes. Yeah, maybe top 15 for sure.
Right.
Maybe not top 10.
That's
You
what I
did say
said.
that.
Yeah.
So let's get into that then. How true is that there was a real offer made to Boots,
Yeah.
and he turned it down? And could you talk about like what was offered to him?
When I went to Riyadh the first time in November, and I met up with Turkey, I went to his his compound, his farm or whatever it was, and they said that more than likely I was going to fight Boots, and I was like, oh shit, okay, we're finally doing this. You know, Oscar was there, and everyone was there, and I was just like, okay, cool.
At
This
154, obviously.
yeah, because I can't move down.
Vergil Ortiz Jr. himself was forced to intervene. He publicly stated that it was the first time I'm hearing about this and insisted, I didn't turn anything down. This created a stalemate, a direct he said contradiction that left fans wondering who was lying.
So when Turkey and those guys said that you were going to fight Boots, was there a number thrown out?
There was no number. There was no number at all. The only thing that I knew was that, okay, this is a real possibility now. Like, then I think the next week, I was at home and my dad's like, hey, Dirk probably gonna announce it. And like, within the next few days, I'm like, oh fuck, we're fighting. All right, so I'm like getting mentally prepared and all this shit. And then it didn't happen. That's when I got word that he turned it down. But no, I'm not gonna say he turned it down. That's just what I heard, you know, because I don't like being on the other end of it.
But what Vergil revealed next changed the entire context of the negotiations. For a long time, Ortiz was on the sidelines, and many assumed his tune-up fights were a sign of avoiding top competition. Vergil finally set the record straight on his side of the timeline. His absence wasn't a strategic tune-up or a duck. He was fighting a life-threatening illness. Ortiz revealed he was battling rhabdomyolysis, a serious condition that put not only his career but his life in jeopardy. This wasn't a fighter avoiding a challenge. This was a man just trying to get healthy.
As far as the negotiation, I'm not a manager, right? So I don't take part of any of that. All I know is that we can start from the beginning. 147, you know, we're both upcoming prospects or whatever. Fight doesn't happen. I always felt like it was gonna happen at 154 anyways. All right, I move up to 154, past rhabdomyolysis. I had to get in a couple of tune-up fights because I just came back from a life-threatening illness. And we really wanted to make sure that I was even still okay to fight because that's how bad it was. So I got those fights out of the way. Then we fight Bohachuk, then we fight Madrimov. Jaron Ennis got a world title at 147, or a couple of them, I think. Good for him. He has a lot of momentum going his way. You know, if I had that much momentum, I would have went straight to the big fight at 154, if I'm being honest. I'm just that kind of guy, I guess. But when it was time to say yes to fight, I was the only one that said yes. So now you have a lot of people that were saying that I was ducking at 147 when there was no fight to be offered or anything like that. The only times that the fight has ever been offered to either of us, I have said yes. So when people are saying ducking, when they align that word with me, I'm not talking about if they want to align it with him, they should. I don't care about that. But they want to align it with me, then they can't say that because I said yes.
And that is when Vergil Ortiz Jr. delivered his own devastating counterpunch. In a recent interview, he addressed the timeline he'd in. He explained his recovery, the tune-up fights he needed to get his body right, and then he dropped the bombshell. Ortiz stated that when he was finally healthy, when the recovery was over and it was actually time to sign the contract, I was the only one that said yes. This single claim flips the entire narrative.
Vergil, we know that Eddie Hearn and Jaron Boots Ennis are going to be ringside at your fight on Saturday. And as you know, you've been in talks with these guys for a while now, pretty much all this year, some of last year, and the fight still hasn't been made. Do you think it's finally going to happen next? And what are you going to show them at ringside?
We'll see. You know, I've already said yes. I mean, that's all I can do, right? So we'll see. We'll see. It's really not up to me, I guess.
And from your standpoint then, what is the biggest barrier to this fight happening? Why hasn't it happened yet? Because like you said, you've said yes, so.
I mean, I don't know. There's really nothing else that I can do at this point, right? So the barrier, it's somewhere on their side. So it's whether it's someone, something, or some amount of money, I don't know. That's completely on them.
Vergil is insisting that when the moment of truth arrived, he was ready to go, implying Ennis's side was the one that ultimately went silent. So, what is Boots' play in this high-stakes game of promotions?
There's no one in the 154-pound division is going to touch it. If you look at the finish and the combinations, the hand speed's blistering, the power is frightening. Lima was like, you know, and it was just, I just wanted a statement, and that was a statement of all statements. But we got to prove it with the resume. He's 28 years old. He's 10 years younger than Terence Crawford. We haven't even touched the surface yet. This is the most special fighter I've ever worked with by a mile, and we are just getting started. And I can't wait for him to be in these fights. I can't wait to duke it out with Oscar and Vergil Ortiz. Oscar tweeted and said, there's only one fighter, Vergil Ortiz, in 154. Then make the fight. If you truly believe you can beat Jaron Ennis, make the fight. Talk about Tom and Jerry, talk about all this kind of stuff. He's a defensive genius, but he'll also come in and take you to pieces and knock you spark out.
The announcement that Ennis and Eddie Hearn will be sitting ringside for the Ortiz-Lubin fight is a massive power move. It's a silent, intimidating message. They are physically showing up in Vergil's backyard to watch him. A clear and undeniable statement that they are not scared, that they are not stalling, and that they are coming for the winner.
I think that when you look at U.S. fights, Vergil against Boots is in the top 3. 2 in their prime American fighters, black fighter versus a Mexican fighter, Northeast fighter versus a Texas-based fighter. You got all the elements for a great super fight. It was disappointing that we didn't get it at 147. I think if Vergil beats Lubin and looks impressive, it's going to be even bigger at 154. I think that's a Vegas fight. It's a pay-per-view fight. I think that's one of the marquee fights of 2026 if Vergil can.
In the end, we have 2 of the best undefeated fighters in the world. 2 of the biggest promoters in the sport and 2 completely different stories.
How far can Boots go? Can he be pound for pound one of the top fighters in the world, 1, 2, or 3 at some point?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's already around there. Like, you know, he's looking to crack that top 10.
Right.
You know, with the right win, I think he'll get in there.
Right. How do you feel about him going up to 154 and maybe people want to see him and Vergil Ortiz?
I think that's the fight. I mean, you win that fight, we definitely in the top 10 to me.
Right.
You know,
for sure.
That's a young champion, a young killer just like you. That's what makes good fights. Young, hungry fighters.
Right.
That's when you know there's going to be a fight, you know?
Is De La Hoya's scared talk just a way to build hype and pressure his rival? Is Vergil's timeline backed by his serious health scare the undisputed truth? Or is Boots' silent ringside appearance the ultimate proof of who is really chasing whom?
Right.
They fighting for legacy. They fighting for that. They want that big bag. They want to be a champion. They want all that stuff. So that fight right there is probably would be like a fight of the year type fight.
Who wins?
I think Boots beats him just because Vergil he can fight, but I think he's going to be in front of him. He's going to be in front of Boots, and that's his style, his tailor-made style.
The taller, longer fighter with the better defense should be favored, and that's Boots, right? Because generally, that guy wins those fights. But it's a different thing than actually going out and beating Vergil Ortiz and doing it in style. If he
Especially
fights,
in that type of manner.
Who should be the favorite in that fight, Shady?
I'm going with Boots.
Favored.
Yeah.
He should be the betting favorite.
Yes.
I think this is a genuine coin flip fight. I really do. And I think we have to remember that Vergil Ortiz has fought the much, much better competition.
That's true.
He beat Israel Madrimov, very quality win. Madrimov gave Crawford all he could handle.
This fight happens and Boots wins a close, tough fight. Then he is at least what we think he is.
One side claims they needed a tune-up. The other claims I was the only one who said yes. The only thing that's certain is that this war won't be settled by interviews, press conferences, or ringside stares. The real truth will only be exposed inside that 17 by 7 foot ring.
Boots doesn't want to fight Vergil. Boots is not going to fight Vergil next. You know, whatever they say, oh, there's a signed contract already. That's all. You know, there's Boots is not going to fight. You know, Boots is not going to fight Vergil next. You know, he's going to show up. You know, why didn't they call us up and invite us to his fight 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Whenever he just fought recently. You know, you come to ours, we go to yours. We promote the fight. That would have been the perfect idea to do. But you know, they want to show up. You know, and they are going to show up. That doesn't make a difference. You know, Vergil's going to do his job. But you know, that's just kind of like trying to get the media, the press to believe that they're ready for the fight. I know they're not. I know they already have a date where they already have, you know, a possible opponent already. So it's all part of the show, part of promoting the event, part of promoting his fighter, and Eddie's doing a great job.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.